Hey, what's up, Nerf Nation? This is Normatico here, and today we are actually going to be entering the realm of the 3D printed blasters. We are actually going to be reviewing something by the legendary Captain Slug. I am, of course, talking about the Caliburn. Now, this one in particular is the U variant of the Caliburn, named so because of the U shape created by the actual rails themselves. This blaster itself actually comes to me courtesy of Foamdemic and Jade, so this one is her work. She 3D printed this blaster and sold to me via Mercari. I think I paid about $160 plus shipping for this thing. Which, you know what? Given the fact that I don't really have a 3D printer, I think it's worth it. And you'll see why. This blaster, it is capable of hitting 300 feet per second, and it does take both standard and half-length darts. Pretty much any size darts can fit in this thing because of the fact that once you actually prime this, you can actually slip it right in, and it goes right in there. Now, one of the things I will tell you about this blaster is that it does come with a full length of the Pro K25 spring. From what I was able to see when I actually took this thing apart, I believe that this is one of the ones that comes from Frontline Foam. So yeah, it is pretty decent. As for where they got the actual hardware kit itself, I am not sure. However, this looks to be probably from Frontline. Maybe out of darts, I'm not entirely sure. All I know is that it is a pretty solid blaster when it comes to the metal pieces. The 3D printing, I will tell you that I've had a couple of issues with this. It could be a case of the filament that was used. Maybe it was just a bad batch. I am not knocking Foamdemic at all when I say this. I just want to make that clear. However, I have had two critical failures when it comes to parts with this. It could just be because of the actual pressure created by the spring itself. Basically, what had happened was that this piece broke right here, and the actual plunger rod itself broke. An easy fix. Somebody over at the Columbus, Ohio Nerf Club, Ghost, he actually was able to 3D print those parts. We got them fixed, and now this thing is better than ever. You will see when I actually perform the chronograph test that this does get the 300 feet per second. Now, I will apologize about this video because of the fact that, unfortunately, due to Ohio being Ohio and it being winter here, I am not able to do a proper accuracy test outdoors. And given how loud this blaster gets, I am not allowed to shoot it indoors. Mr. Normatico has made that clear to me, that indoor accuracy test with this thing, not happening. Also, Pixie, not a big fan of this one either. Let's just say that poor door, yeah, I apologize to that door. It's an inanimate object, but I still feel bad for it because it has taken quite the beating because of this blaster when I've tested it out. Other features about this blaster, of course, it does have a removable barrel, which if you are going to store it, I do highly recommend removing it because of the fact that this is a pretty long blaster. It does not even fit on my wall up there without me removing the barrel. Removing that barrel, though, of course, you just have to prime this down here, and you'll see that little Phillips head. You just remove that with a Phillips head, that loosens the barrel, you pull it up, and ta-da. Now, this is approximately a 70 millimeter barrel, sorry, 70 centimeter barrel. So it's pretty long and pretty unwieldy when it comes to doing the chronograph test. You just see the edge of the barrel during the chronograph test. Now, regarding loading this blaster, of course, I do have a half magazine adapter in here. However, just for the sake of example, you load the dart in here. The push rod pushes it in, and you're ready to fire. Now, when I talk about the noise of this thing, you're going to be able to hear it right now. Oh boy. Yep, I shot the roof. Oh boy. I might have to fix that. Whoops. Anyways, so that is actually how you prime and fire this particular blaster. So next we're going to go to the chronograph, and then I was able to get a distance test before the blizzard set in. So yeah, you'll see the distance that this blaster gets. it is a cold, wet winter morning here out in a beautiful central Ohio, which is not so beautiful right now. And we are actually going to test the distance on the Caliburn. I have the Bamboo 2.0 darts loaded here. I'm going to check to see how far they can go with an angled shot and a straight shot. Angled shot. That went pretty far. Straight shot. Let's go do a distance recovery, and I'll be able to tell you how far these darts went momentarily. All right, so I am back with the darts, and we actually measured 230 feet for the angled shot and 160 feet with the straight shot using the Bamboo 2.0 half darts. We're going to go ahead and actually load up a magazine with the Max Ruby standard lengths and see how far those go. All right, well, we are now reloaded with the Max Ruby standard length darts. We're going to go ahead and actually test two, angled and straight. Angled shot. Straight shot. We're going to do a dart recovery and see just how far those darts went. Right, so for the straight shot, which I didn't even see it come out of the barrel, we actually got 150 feet. And with the angled shot, we got 230 feet, very similar to what we got with the half darts. So I'm going to say that with the Caliburn, when it comes to the distance, it doesn't matter if you use half darts or standard length darts. They're all going to go about the same distance. One was bamboo. The other ones are the ruby darts, which bamboo darts tend to fly farther. But this proved to not be the case. So there you have it. Up next, we'll be back with our final thoughts regarding the Caliburn. And I'm back with my final thoughts regarding the Caliburn U variant. So I'm not gonna lie, I am a fan of this blaster. When they call him the legendary Captain Slug, you know what? This is a legendary blaster and quite the legendary design. Anybody who will talk to you about the hobby will tell you that the Caliburn is a fantastic blaster and that it is the beast on the battlefield. It is probably one of the higher powered blasters, or I should say historically was one of the super high powered blasters. This definitely falls into the ultra stock range. I would probably put it higher because ultra stock starts at around 200. I think once you hit the 300 range, yeah, we got to come up with a new category because most game caps that I've seen, you know, they cap at 250 and then there's 250 plus. So what you would call that, I'm not sure. This is definitely for the 250 plus range. Of course, you might hit sub 250 if you're using waffle darts or if you're using something that is not a bamboo dart, because I tested with the bamboo 2s and those were hitting all above 300. I believe one of them hit 340. So yeah, that's not an outlier either, because over several times that I tested off camera, I consistently hit the high 330s, and 340, 345 was what I hit at one point. But again, I'm not going to count that in my chronograph readings because it wasn't on camera. You didn't see it. You're just going to get what was on camera. Now, there are a couple of things about this blaster that I wish I could do, and who knows, I may do that in the future. I would love to add some Picatinny railing here on the side, on this support rail. This rail right here is the actual part of the priming mechanism, so you want to leave that alone. But right around here, you could probably add some Picatinny railing, maybe for a laser or for an actual flashlight attachment. I think that would be really nice. You do have the long rails all along here, so you can put your sight wherever you'd like. Mine, I usually put it right around here for the scope because of the fact that this is a long distance blaster. I will tell you, using this blaster, it is recommended for 14 and up. Stick to that. That is a hard 14 and up. Two reasons why. First of all, this priming, in order to prime it, you have to want to actually prime it. What I mean is that just simply pulling back like this is not going to get it to stick. Even doing that doesn't get it to stick sometimes. You have to actually pull it down hard, and that way it primes. So there's that. I do wish that the priming action was a little bit, I should say, less heavy. However, that's this spring. That is all the Pro K25. It's one of those things that it is easier to prime than a standard K25, but you still have to use quite the bit of muscle. The positive side, though, is that you are in the upper the upper 200 ranges for most darts, and the 300 and up range for bamboos. So you can basically take the priming handle and the priming difficulty and say it's worth it. Now, using this in an actual blaster battle. This is not for use in close distance combat. This is definitely the one for the guy who likes to sit back like me and just shoot from afar. As you saw, the distance with this thing, it can shoot quite far. I was able to get around 240 feet. I will tell you that I tested it again. Again, this was off camera, so it doesn't count. But I have launched 270, 280 feet before. So that is something that you can get with good weather. Unfortunately, the weather that we had when you actually saw this on camera, not that great. But again, it's Ohio. If you don't live in Ohio, just to let you know, Ohio has bipolar weather. It's probably the most atrocious weather system in the nation, is in the state of Ohio. Not anywhere else, just centralized in this one state. I have no clue why. I always thought that Florida was bad when I lived there. No. Florida ain't got nothing on Ohio. Oh well. You deal. But that's it in a nutshell regarding the Caliburn. Again, I think it's a pretty good blaster. Is it worth the price that I paid for it? Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Could I get a 3D printer and actually print this out for less myself? Sure, but then you have to worry about the hassle of 3D printing, and I'll be honest with you, I'll leave that to more tech-savvy people than myself. I could fix a computer without a problem, but fixing 3D prints, not my thing just yet. But who knows? Maybe I'll add that to my skill set next time. I want to thank you all for watching Secondhand Blasters. Until next time, keep on blasting.